There is a challenge that appears. It's a welcome challenge, but it's a challenge nonetheless when you start getting any kind of traction at all in social media. And that is that before long, companies will reach out to you and ask if you want to partner with them to merchandise a product. And to cut to the chase, that's what this video is. Those partnerships can look like anything from where they send you a free product, they ask you to make a video, and that's kind of the end of your relationship, all the way up to where they're hiring you as an official spokesperson and everything in between those things. And of course, I'm kind of on the low side of that totem pole, and so I get offered stuff by companies pretty often, but they're frequently products that I wouldn't use, and so I couldn't be fair to you and tell you about it, and I couldn't be fair to the company if I'm not enthusiastic about the product, and you know what I mean? It wouldn't make any sense. I've been sent a few products where they send me the product and then it just doesn't work, and I'm like, well, I can't make a video about this. It doesn't work. Thankfully, you're watching this video because the product I was sent actually works and I actually like it. So the product I was sent for this video is from a company called Seesii. See how I did that? I slid right out of the way and there's the product. It's a shop vac. It's a 21 volt battery powered shop vac, and I have been using a 20 volt battery powered shop vac for a really long time from a brand you'd recognize. And the one that I use all the time costs like 2.5 times what this thing costs. That's kind of its biggest selling point, is that it is a lot less expensive than the ones you might be used to seeing at Ace Hardware or Home Depot or whatever. It does have another feature I really like, and we'll get to that in a minute, but let's go ahead and talk about the accessories and stuff first, and then we'll get to the fun part. We've done a couple of road trips in my wife's car, and it's pretty dirty in there, so what better way to test the vacuum than in a real-world scenario of getting a filthy car clean? Oh man, that's disgusting. I don't know if you've ever been in the back seat of a Mustang, but there's not a lot of room back here. Thankfully, the vacuum actually doesn't take up much space, which means that I can party back here pretty easily. Back here on the rear shelf, there's some insects that are right up against the glass, and thankfully this skinny attachment should be able to pick them up. Another thing that might be less obvious back here is a lot of dust has accumulated, and I can wipe the dust off of this vinyl here with a rag, but I can't use a rag to wipe up carpet. So let's see what the little brush attachment can do to agitate that and clean it up. If you didn't notice, there's a couple stains back here in the fabric as well as down there on the floor mat, and nobody's vacuum cleaner is going to dry lift a stain. That's just not a thing. But what I want to find out is if this attachment right here is able to pull up water along with the suction of the vacuum itself. So I've got some water with a little bit of detergent in it here, and we're going to just spray that on the stain. Just get that all nasty on there, and then I'm going to take a brush and we're going to agitate that a little bit. Just work that in a little bit, not much. Just enough to make sure the stain gets kind of drawn in. And then I'm going to let that work for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to put this guy to work. Yeah, that drew out pretty much all the water. You can still see kind of an outline of where the water is, and that'll evaporate the rest of the way pretty well, but this did a good job. Yeah, that's most of the way dry. It's going to have to dry a little bit more. This thing didn't pull it as dry as an actual shampooer would, but it did a pretty admirable job. That's funny. I literally just noticed that. There's a place on there where you can store the spill attachment right on it, and I figured that out while I was doing take 3 of this scene here. So if you could help me out and make sure this is the last scene I have to do, because it is hot out here. Like I mentioned earlier, if I didn't actually like this vacuum cleaner, then I wouldn't publish the video. I'm under no obligation to publish it. They sent me the free product, they asked me to do a video on it, and I can say whatever I want to say about it. The nice thing is that I can say nice things about it. It's kind of a nice vacuum cleaner. It doesn't weigh very much, which means that when I was going up and down my stairs vacuuming those things, it wasn't like something heavy that I was going to lose my balance on. It was really easy to bring it in and out of my wife's car when I was detailing the interior of that. It's got the wheels on it, so when I was kind of like just going around cleaning stuff, it would follow me like a puppy dog, and I thought that was pretty nice. And it has a lot more suction. That's the interesting part. It has more suction than this thing. So that thing down there costs like 2.5 times as much by the time you buy the batteries and the charger and everything. And this thing comes with 2 batteries and a charger. And during everything I was doing to film this, I never changed the battery or charged the battery once. I just charged it the first time before I got started, and it keeps on rocking. I don't know how long it'll run on a battery, but pretty long. There's only one thing about it that really bugs me, and that is that it does have a weird filter, and I couldn't find anywhere in the manual what filter to replace it with. The filter is this pleated thing right here, which you can see gets accumulated with dust and whatever. It does have instructions for how you can clean it out, but even though you can clean it repeatedly over and over again, you can't clean it forever, and at some point it'll be necessary to replace it, and I couldn't figure out where to buy replacements for that. I know it may have looked a little awkward a couple times when I was cleaning stuff, and that was everything to do with me trying to do it for the camera. It had nothing to do with awkwardness of using the vacuum cleaner. It's as easy to use as anyone else's vacuum. And I gotta say, the battery life on it is stellar. So the 2 things it has above a much more expensive vacuum cleaner from a different brand is it pulls pretty hard. It's got a nice strong suction. I don't think I've used a battery powered vacuum cleaner that's got stronger suction than that. And the battery lasted as long as I cared to have it last. I got bored of cleaning stuff and the battery's still rocking. I haven't even disconnected the other battery from the charger yet. If you have more money to spend, yeah, a more expensive vacuum cleaner has some nice things going for it, but you know, I mean, then you could just keep on spending money forever, right? So that's what I have to say about the Seesii Shop Vac. I'll put a link down in the video description below here that'll get you a discount on these if you choose to order them. I don't have any further relationship. I don't get anything from it if you do or don't order. Hope you found this entertaining.